Good day. I'm Bill Roeder from the 45th Space Wing and the 45th Weather Squadron. We're the Air Force unit that does weather for Kennedy Space Center and the 45th Space Wing. Today, I'll be speaking on lightning safety, a very important topic because lightning is the underrated weather hazard. But before we get started, we should honor the founding father of atmospheric electricity. That's right, Benjamin Franklin. Now, old Ben was a great scientist, but it's refreshing to know that he had human problems just like the rest of us. In this briefing, we're going to establish lightning as a significant hazard, especially here in Florida, and spend most of our time talking about the lightning safety procedures. Public education is the key, because we still have too many events like this picture on the left. This was several years ago in Sequoia National Park in California. A family's out for a day hike on the mountain, and something unusual starts happening. Look at their hair sticking up. This is neat. This is cool. Look at the happy, smiling faces. Parents on this side of the camera taking a picture. 3 seconds later, one of these kids was dead. Lightning strike. Hair sticking up like this is a classic sign that lightning may be about to strike. If this were happening to me, I would not be smiling. I'd probably be needing a new pair of pants. Across the United States, lightning is now the 4th leading cause of storm deaths. 25 years ago, it used to be a strong second place. But through public education, we've pushed it down. However, it's still a significant hazard. It still kills more than hurricanes. But the real story of lightning isn't the deaths, as bad as those are, it's the injuries. About only 10% of those who encounter lightning are killed. 90% survive. But of those survivors, many suffer lifelong debilitating injuries. And I tell you, you talk to these lightning survivors, their stories are absolutely heart-wrenching. People who used to have bright, productive, active lives, over in an instant. Blinding headaches that make migraines look like a walk in a park. Chronic fatigue syndrome where they can't get out of bed for days on end. Chronic pain. Personality changes affects their relationships. Attention deficit disorder, easy distractibility, affects their ability to hold a job. Trust me, you do not want to suffer the consequences of a lightning strike or even know anyone who does. Lightning also has a huge economic impact, to the tune of $6 billion in the United States each year. Those of us in the space program understand these consequences. This map shows where the most lightning occurs across the country. The warmer colors, the yellow, the oranges, the reds, have the most lightning activity. One feature stands out: Florida. We are indeed the thunderstorm capital of the country. But it's not just Florida, it's Central Florida. In fact, we're trying to get away from the term thunderstorm capital, preferring instead Lightning Alley, Tampa to Titusville. Unfortunately, that doesn't help us because we live at one end of Lightning Alley. Florida leads the country in lightning deaths and lightning injuries. No other state even comes close. Remember how I said lightning is the number 4 killer in the country? In Florida, it's number 2. But it used to be number 1. In fact, it used to account for almost more than all other weather deaths in the state combined. But through public education, we've pushed it down to number 2. In fact, in the past 20 years, lightning deaths in the state have fallen over 50%, and what counts even more, the per capita deaths have fallen more than 80%. By the way, this analysis was done by Lake Nona High School in Orlando. We've been doing a collaborative research program with them for the past 5 years. This is just one of the many products they've created. What a fun topic. High school students doing real-world research to help the space program. At this point, hopefully I've got you convinced that lightning is an important hazard. What do you do about it? That's where the safety procedures come in. We're going to briefly review what we do at the 45th Space Wing and Kennedy Space Center, then spend most of our time on the personal procedures. This map shows all the lightning warning areas that 45th Weather Squadron issues lightning warnings for. There are 12 in total. And we use a two-tiered approach. If a thunderstorm is moving in or developing, we'll start off with a Phase 1 lightning watch, meaning lightning is expected to occur in the lightning warning area or areas specified with a desired lead time of 30 minutes. If the thunderstorm continues to move in or develop, we'll then upgrade that to a Phase 2 lightning warning, meaning lightning is imminent or already occurring inside the specified circles. This two-tiered approach works very well. So well, in fact, that back in 1997, the Air Force adopted our procedures for use Air Force-wide. But even though we have world-class lightning safety procedures and top-notch lightning forecasters, it's all worthless unless you all listen for and respond to those lightning watches and warnings. Follow your local procedures. If you don't have local procedures, get them. In the interim, here are some suggested general procedures for use. Here are the lightning warning areas for Kennedy Space Center. You can see that we're not showing the large yellow circles on the previous chart. We're only showing the small green inner circles. These are the areas that get good lightning safety from the lightning watches and warnings. You can see there's a fair amount of area that isn't protected. These lightning warnings are designed only for locations that have a lot of outdoor workers most of the time. However, there will occasionally be outdoor workers outside of the areas being protected. We are currently in the process developing a new automated process to provide lightning warnings for those occasional workers. Here are the lightning warning areas for Cape Canaveral. And then here is the lightning warning circle for Patrick Air Force Base. That's what you do for lightning safety at Kennedy Space Center and 45th Space Wing. It's easy. Listen for the lightning watches and warnings issued by 45th Weather Squadron and respond properly. But what do you do for lightning safety when you're not on these facilities? That's where the personal procedures come in. I teach lightning safety from 3 slogans and 5 levels of lightning safety. The first of the slogans, the fundamental principle of lightning safety. No place, and I mean no place outside is safe when thunderstorms are in the area. The second slogan, when thunder roars, go indoors. This slogan has become very popular and is used all across the country, even internationally. And then the final slogan, half an hour after thunder roars, now it's safe to go outdoors. The first and best level of lightning safety is like any safety procedure. The best thing is to avoid the hazard in the first place. For lightning, that means schedule your outdoor activities to avoid the threat. Use your local forecasts, know your local weather patterns. When you're off-center, most of your best weather information is going to come from National Weather Service Melbourne office. That's good, because Melbourne puts as much lightning information as they can into their products. They are definitely one of the leaders in National Weather Service when it comes to lightning safety. But not everybody can be inside all the time. That's where the second level comes in. Know when and where you should go for lightning safety. Watch the skies. Look for approaching or locally developing thunderstorms. And here's where some of the slogans kick in. When thunder roars, go indoors. If you can hear thunder, the thunderstorm is getting close enough to be danger and you should go to a safe location. Once you're in a safe location, stay there for half an hour after you hear the last thunder. This is going to seem too conservative. You're going to be inside longer than you think you should be. It's not. That was the when of when and where to go for safety. The where is going inside a large, fully enclosed building with wiring and plumbing. a typical house, school, office, or store. Also, a hardtop vehicle also offers a lot of protection. A typical car, truck, or bus. However, there are some vehicles that don't provide good lightning safety. Motorcycles, convertibles, golf carts. It's the metal roof connected to metal sides that provides the protection. Once you're in a safe location, you're not done yet. You need to avoid any conducting paths to the outside. That means don't use a corded telephone or a cell phone if it's connected to the power outlet or the base station. Only use those in an emergency. Keep away from any electrical appliances and wiring, such as TVs, cables, computers, video games, and the such. Here's one that a lot of people forget: plumbing. Metal pipes or plastic pipes with water in them are conducting paths to the outside. People have been electrocuted by lightning taking a shower. Nearly all lightning safety is in this one pie chart. In the United States, 99% of the lightning deaths were people outside. Going inside buys you a lot of protection. And the 1% of lightning deaths that were inside, those were people not obeying the indoor rules. So going inside and obeying the indoor rules will buy you as much lightning safety as you're likely going to get. That's why the slogan, "When thunder roars, go indoors," is so useful. That brings us to level 3. If you have to be outside with thunderstorms in the area, now it's better not to be. If you have to be outside, avoid the most hazardous locations. A lot of this is common sense. Avoid elevated places. Avoid open areas like sports fields and beaches. Avoid tall, isolated objects like trees. And here's another one that a lot of people miss: unprotected pavilions, like rain shelters or picnic shelters. Those usually offer nothing in the way of lightning safety. Indeed, many people, myself included, argue that they're more dangerous than just being out in the open. And of course, lightning being electricity doesn't mix well with water. Avoid any water-related activities like swimming, boating, or fishing. By the way, this level 3 is not a safety procedure, it is a risk reduction procedure. If you're outside, you're in danger from lightning. This picture shows lightning very close to a Ferris wheel. This is not a good time to be on a tall metal ride. I cannot overemphasize enough the need to keep away from trees when lightning is in the area. Ring of dead cows are famous photos in lightning history. Cows like to keep dry, so when it starts thunderstorming, under the tree they go to keep dry. Well, the lightning hits the tree, they're touching each other, and they all get electrocuted. And then a little later on the left, a cowboy shows up for some barbecue. Here's a more recent example of over 30 cows killed by one lightning strike. Same situation. They all went under the trees to keep dry, lightning hit the tree, and they all got electrocuted. Another reason to stay away from trees are steam explosions. If lightning hits a tree, it can superheat the water and sap inside the tree and cause it to literally explode. If this happens, it may not be the lightning that got you, but 2-foot splinters going 200 miles an hour is still going to ruin your day. This is perhaps the most famous photo in lightning history. We're on a golf green. You can see where lightning hit the flag, came to the ground, and lightning, being high-frequency electricity, doesn't like to go into objects. It likes to spread out along the surface. Here you can see where it spread out along the surface, killed the grass. After a while it turned brown. Now you can see where the lightning went. This phenomena is called ground streamers. These are important in lightning safety because these ground streamers can be deadly, up to 100 feet from where the lightning struck. Another reason to stay away from tall, isolated objects like trees are upward streamers. Here you can see some pictures of upward streamers, sparks of electricity reaching up out of the ground, trying to touch the lightning as it's coming down out of the sky. There are usually several of these per lightning flash, and they can form up to 100 yards from where the lightning actually strikes. If you're outside and lightning is about to strike, you could be what causes an upward streamer to form right where you're standing. It may not be lightning, but it's still a 30-foot tall spark. It's still going to ruin your day. Level 4 is backcountry risk reduction for people who are too far away from a building or a vehicle to go there for lightning safety. We no longer teach this to the general public, but you should be aware that these procedures are available if you're in the backcountry. That brings us to level 5. As good as these procedures are, they aren't perfect. So you have to be ready to give first aid if someone is struck by lightning. All lightning deaths are due to cardiac arrest or stop breathing from the cardiac arrest. The recommended first aid is to start CPR immediately if needed, have someone else call 911 to get the emergency medical technicians there, and if you have an AED, an automated external defibrillator available, those work on a lot of the lightning conditions. And the AEDs work much better than CPR. So if you have an AED available, give it a try. If it's not a fibrillation condition, the device will detect that, it won't fire, in which case you go back to using the CPR. We're now in the home stretch. You have learned everything you need to know about lightning safety. The question, though, is, what are you going to do with this information? When thunderstorms are in the area, you have a choice. Go inside, or something like this could happen to you. Nice little exploded tree. Imagine what that lightning bolt could have done to a human. When thunderstorms are in the area, you have a choice. Go inside, or else something like this could happen to you. 2 12-foot gouges cut inches deep into the concrete at the runway at Eglin Air Force Base in the panhandle of Florida. If you're going to wrestle with lightning, guess who's going to win? And once again, when thunderstorms in the area, it's up to you. You have the choice. Go inside, or something like this could happen to you. The Louisiana State Memorial, 80-foot tall stone monument. On the left, 10-foot chunks of stone chewed out of it by lightning. In the middle, 3-ton stone blocks moved out of alignment. And on the right, 2 3-ton stone blocks pushed 6 inches apart by mere electricity. When thunderstorms in the area, you have a choice. Go inside, or something like this could happen to you? These are the Chinese crested dogs, renowned as the world's ugliest canines. They've got my vote. To be fair, these animals were not struck by lightning. People actually breed them to look this way. Yes, no animals were harmed in the preparation of this briefing. So in summary, lightning is an extremely significant weather hazard, but still too often underrated. When you're on Kennedy Space Center or the 45th Space Wing, listen for and react to the lightning watches and warnings issued by 45th Weather Squadron. When you're off center, use the 3 slogans and the 5 levels of lightning safety. I think the most important point is that the vast majority of lightning casualties can so easily, quickly, and cheaply be prevented. But you have to be diligent in following the procedures all the time because it's going to be inconvenient. For those who want to learn more, here are 2 very good websites. For information on lightning safety, go to the NOAA Lightning Safety website. This is considered the world's best website for lightning safety. All the nation's experts have contributed our best information to that website. And for local weather forecasts, go to weather.gov. It'll bring up a map of the United States, click on East Central Florida, and that'll take you to the National Weather Service Melbourne website. Let's review those all-important slogans. The fundamental principle: no place outside is safe when thunderstorms are in the area. When thunder roars, go indoors. Half an hour since thunder roars, now it's safe to go outdoors. So, what do you do when you hear a clap of thunder? When thunder roars, go indoors. At this point, I would normally open it up for questions, but here are the two websites for lightning safety information and for weather forecasts from the National Weather Service.